This is the reading for the homework about the constructive and destructive forces graphic organizer. The first one is looking at a giant stepping stones. The ground cracks open. Clouds of hot gases and steam billow into the sky. Sizzling hot lava spills out of the giant cracks. It oozes across the ground. The lava covers everything in its path. Nothing is safe. Thick forests burst into flames. Streams and ponds boil. Animals flee. Yet the lava keeps coming. Eruption after eruption, it fills a river valley. It forms a lake of hot molten lava 90 meters deep. The lake is so deep that the lava cools very slowly. As it cools, it turns into igneous rock. It also contracts or shrinks, then crack. Soon, small cracks cover the entire surface of the rock. The cracks form hexagon shapes. They make the rock look like a honeycomb. Many of the cracks are very deep. They turn the rocks into columns. These columns stretch all the way to the buried river valley. Over the years, more lava bubbles up. It covers the land. So do dirt and grass. They bury the columns, hiding them for millions of years. Yet the land keeps changing. The sea rises. It floods the land. Sea levels drop. The receding water tugs at the land. Waves pound it. Wind blasts it. Over time, these powerful forces wear away the land. Bit by bit, the cracked lava rock reappears. The columns aren't all the same height anymore. Some look like giant stepping stones. They stretch to the sea, forming the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. More columns form a cliff. They look like giant organ pipes. Lava doesn't erupt here anymore. Waves and winds still beat this place, though. The tough rock slowly wears away. Someday, like the land that once covered it, the columns will crumble. Giant's Causeway will disappear. That was the giant stepping stones. If you need to pause to fill out your graphic organizer, please do so. Rainbow rocks. Rain pounds the ground. Streams turn into raging rivers. Floods race through a valley in ancient China. Water isn't the only thing on the move. So are sand, rocks, and dirt. The water picks them up and moves them. It pushes specks of sand. It tumbles pebbles and even big boulders. This movement is called erosion. Eventually the water slows. The sand and rocks settle. Some fall to the bottom of lakes. Over time, more and more sand and rocks pile up. Their weight presses down. All this pressure glues the pieces together. They slowly turn into sedimentary rock. Sand turns into a rough kind of rock called sandstone. Mud becomes mudstone. Pebbles turn into bumpy rock called conglomerate. These layers of rock remain hidden for a long time. Then something happens. Earth's tectonic plates shift. These giant plates make up the Earth's surface. The ground heaves. In places, it rises. This uplift pushes the hidden layers up. The buried rocks rise higher and higher. They form many jagged peaks that tower over the land. Rain then pelts the rocks. Ice cracks them. Sand whipped by winds scours them. These forces break the rocks into smaller pieces. This process is called weathering. Today, in a desert in western China, the mountains are gone. The wind and water have sculpted them into wavy hills. Iron streaks the rock red. Other streaks of blue, gray, and gold turn these rocks into rainbow rocks. Sorry, this isn't a black and white photo. All right, on to the next one, the Cotton Castle. Drip, drip, drip. Rain and melting snow seep through cracks on the Earth's surface. The water flows downward. It sinks deeper and deeper under the ground. Rumble, rumble. Earth's tectonic plates shift. Earthquakes rattle the land. The planet's crust cracks a little more. Gurgle. Hot magma rises. This melted rock comes from deep inside Earth's mantle. When water and magma meet, the water heats up. Soon it's boiling hot. It bubbles back up through the cracks. This water is different, though. It has picked up carbon dioxide, or CO2, from the magma. The water rises through limestone. This sedimentary rock is made from the skeletons of sea creatures. The hot water dissolves some of the rock. When that happens, the water picks up a chemical called calcium carbonate. Finally, the water bubbles up out of the ground. It forms about 20 hot springs in Turkey. As the water spills over the sides of the springs, the carbon dioxide gas rises into the air. The water quickly evaporates. That leaves the calcium carbonate behind. At first, it's gooey. Then it hardens into a new kind of limestone. This limestone is bright white. In some places, the rock hardens while water drips over it. It looks like frozen waterfalls. In other places, the new rock piles up. There, it looks like fluffy balls of cotton. That's why people call this place the Cotton Castle. The Cotton Castle is probably most famous for its terraces, though. Over time, the rock formed a cliff. Its top looks like giant steps. Each snow-white step holds a pool of bright blue water. As long as the water flows, these rock formations will continue to grow. The final one. Catch a wave. Deep in Earth's mantle, magma bubbles. It moves through a crack in Earth's crust and rises. Up and up it goes. Suddenly, the crack widens into a large underground chamber. The magma fills it. In some places, a magma chamber like this forms the bottom of a volcano. Not here. It's a dead end for this molten rock. Slowly, the pool of magma cools. It turns into a solid chunk of granite, a kind of igneous rock. It stays buried beneath the soil of the rock for a long time. Yet even here, it begins to weather. Water seeps through the soil. Acids and salts in the water begin to eat away at the rock. They weaken parts of the granite slab. High above the rock, a wide river forms. It drains water into the sea. As it flows, the water digs into the land. It carries away bits and pieces of dirt and rock. Bit by bit, the erosion uncovers the granite. It washes away bits of weakened rock. The exposed rock curves over the land like a giant wave. Today, the top of this wave rises about 15 meters above the ground. Water drips down the wave, streaking it red and gray. Algae grow on it. These forces will slowly continue to break the rock apart. The same thing is happening under the ground, too. Water weathers the buried rock. It builds a bigger wave. Weathering and erosion create an endless cycle. Giant rocks rise as soil washes away. Rugged mountains wear down into rolling hills. Hot springs carry chemicals that build new rock. These powerful forces keep changing the land. They will continue to create some of the weirdest and most wonderful places on Earth. Here is the word wise. Erosion is the process in which rock is moved from one place to another. Igneous rock is a kind of rock formed from molten rock. Sedimentary rock is a kind of rock formed when bits of rock, sand, shells, and mud are pressed together. And weathering is a process in which rocks are broken down into smaller pieces.